Hello, everyone. My name is Brenda Echeverry. I work with Community Word Project. Today, I'm going to lead you through an activity that has to do with mindfulness and visual art. So, what is mindfulness? It's paying attention to the experience of the present moment using all of my senses, like my sight, my hearing, my taste, my touch, my smell. It's acknowledging the emotions and thoughts that arise in me without judging myself, just simply acknowledging them. And in terms of art making, it's enjoying the process of creation rather than worrying about the product. When we start to worry about the product, it takes away from the benefit of the experience of creation in itself. One technique that we use to increase mindfulness is simply breathing, something that we usually don't pay attention to because it comes so naturally. So you can look at this and kind of start syncing up your breath to it. I found it to be a nice visual. If you don't like it, you could also close your eyes and just focus on your breathing. Notice the rise and fall of your breath and your chest, how it moves up and down. Is it slow? Is it fast? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel tense? Do a body scan from your head to your toes. Are your eyes open or closed? Are they focused on anything? What about your jaw? How is it right now? Is it like tensed up? Is it relaxed? Your neck, your shoulders, your waist, your hips, your legs, your feet. Are they on the ground? Are you sitting in a chair? How does that chair feel holding your weight? Are you laying down? How does that feel? Also notice the sensations all around you using your senses. What do you hear right now? Do you smell anything? Is there anything cooking? Is there a candle burning? If your mind starts to wander or if you start thinking about something, just ground yourself by going right back to your breath, the in and out of your breathing. And you don't have to judge yourself or feel bad or feel like you can't do it. When you start to think and think and think, it's natural for us to think. So all you need to do when you notice yourself thinking, just go right back to your breath. So I wanted to share with you a grounding exercise that has really helped me in the past when I feel stressed out, anxious, worried, like almost it becomes physical. Like I have difficulty breathing or my thoughts are racing, my my body is shaking a little bit. This helps me calm down. So look around you. What are 5 things that you see? You might come up with a lot more, but at least start with 5. And then 4 things that you can hear in the moment. It's okay if you can't find all 4 or if you hear more than that. The point is to just acknowledge what is in your surroundings. 3 things that you can touch. These might be things that are nearby that you can reach out your hand and just feel the texture of. It might be something you're wearing. 2 things that you smell. And 1 thing that you taste. You might not taste anything, but just noticing the sensation of even just your tongue in your mouth. Things are This exercise is really using your senses to ground yourself, to get yourself out of your head and back into your body, and to really be present and mindful in the moment of what is happening around you and how you feel. So we're going to make some self-portraits or representations of ourselves. Self-portraits help you consider how you're feeling in the moment, or in the hour, or in the day. Self-portraits help you to evaluate the different ways that you perceive yourself, both positive and negative. And you can use self-portraits to reflect on your growth over time, especially in these past 2 months we've been at home. Things have been very different. You can see how your perception of self has changed over time. All right, so the materials that you will need for this activity: paper and anything that you have to draw with. If you have color, bring in some color. If you have newspaper or magazine with scissors, you can cut out some images or some words that you really like. You can use glue or tape or a stapler to put everything together and stick it onto the paper. Or if you don't have any drawing materials available to you, you can use one of these two websites that I found. Freehand is quite simple. I liked it. It was easy to use. And Sketchpad was a little bit more complex, but it had a lot more options to create. The first thing we're going to do is called My Hands. You're going to trace an outline of one or both of your hands. If you're using the computer, you can just raise your hand to the screen and trace the shape of your hand with the mouse. So you're going to fill in that outline to represent traits about yourself that you like, or things in your life that you do have control over. The area that's outside of the outline of your hands should be filled with things in your life that you don't have control over, or things that you just need to let go of. So you can use colors to represent different emotions or feelings. For example, you can represent anger or pain with red, or happiness with yellow. And these are just examples. You don't have to follow that, but that's kind of like you can create a color code almost. If you don't have colors to use, you can create patterns like stripes, circles, waves, stars, anything else you could think of. You can play around with the pressure that you apply to the paper with the drawing utensil. So you might want to press really hard, or you could press really, really light to shade in something. You could poke holes through your paper. You could crumple the paper. You could use stickers or anything else that you could find to stick onto it. So let's look at some examples. This first one, ooh, this person used both hands and they kind of overlapped it a little bit. So I see on the left hand, there's like one finger that's red that says anger. I see on the right hand, there's like a greenish yellow. It kind of looks like watercolor. They used words. They used images too. There's a little figure of a person riding a bike. Okay, I dig it. All right, so this is one that I made about a month ago. I used one hand and I put the fingers close together. On the inside, I put things that I do have control over. One of them is making time, how I spend my money, asking for help, honesty. I also put an eyeball, kind of like self-reflection. On the outside, I put some things that I don't have control over, and I used a gray color too. The weather, school's closing, and how much I miss being with all the students. The actions and choices of others. So I created this image as well using the website that I shared with you called Sketchpad. Under the section labeled clip art, I typed in the word hand and I was able to find this green hand. And then I changed the colors on the inside with this rainbow effect using the tool that's called vector fill. So on the inside of the hand, I put in some things that I do have control over, and on the outside of the hand, I put things that I don't have control over. So for example, on the inside, I used words and images like effort, forgiveness, self-care, the image of the telephone, because I can reach out to my friends and family for support, and the image of the money bag, because I have some control over what I choose to spend my money on. On the outside, I put things that I don't have control over, like the weather,
like the decisions of others, and even just the fact that I need to use glasses to see. I don't have control over my eyesight. So I chose to include that as well.
So here's the prompt again. Take some time, pause the video, and create your hands. Cool. If you would like to, you should share your work with me. You can upload an image of your creation to this Google Drive that I created for us. You can also just put a little blurb, some sentences about your experience if you would like to do that as well, or instead. Think about what you experienced during the art making process. Were you distracted, or were you really present in the moment? Were you thinking about anything? Did you get frustrated? And how did this activity make you feel in general? Let me know. Thanks for hanging out with me.